Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel again. Alexandre is here and I'd like to ask you to stay with me until the end of the video because I know that it will be helpful for everyone who are learning English like me. So, thank you very much and let's get started. Alright, people, if you don't know me yet, let me introduce you quickly. Let me make me quickly introduce me because it is very important. I'm Alexandre Gonçalves and I live in Brazil, so I'm Brazilian. And I have been studying English for almost 4 years. That have been difficult. I passed through so uh, many bad things because I thought and give up. Sometimes I almost give up. And there were other days where maybe I feel more motivated than ever, and that is the nature of the process. Sometimes you will be so unmotivated, but other days you will be full motivated. So that is normal, people. The first thing that I would like to ask you, it is never give up, because if you keep going, if you go ahead, you'll be there where you wanna be. Okay? So that is the first thing that I would like to start that video with. I'd like to ask you to stay focused, because if you didn't, maybe you give up during your studies. But if you stay focused, I'm sure that you'll be there, you'll be fluent as soon as possible. So, what can you do to improve your learning English or to improve your speaking skills? I have been posted some videos here. I believe the majority of them related to that, because, in my opinion, speaking English is one of the key to be motivated. Because when you can speak and make other person understand you, you will feel so motivated with your English that it will help you, that it will be helpful for your motivation. So, uh, to me, speaking English is the key to succeed. It's one of the most important, if not the most important thing to learn English. But uh, to be there, to be speaking English, for you speak English, to get vocabulary to speak English, the first thing that ever learners that must to do, ever English beginners must to do, is listening a lot. How many time you spend listening, how many vocabulary you have you get in your mind, faster you speak it and faster you achieve your goals. Uh, that is if we were a child. Just let me give some example here. Let me tell you some story. Do you remember when you were a child? When you were a little child, what do you do first? What you did first? What you did first? You start reading, you start speaking, or you start listening, or you start writing. What did you do? What you did first when you are just learning to speak your native language? That's the key. That's the key, people. The first thing that you start doing is listen. You listen again and again and again. Your parents, your people who loves you. You just listen them a lot. And some months or some years, at least 1 year and a half, some people speak it, some child speaking, or some babies start to speak it almost 2 years. Sometimes speak it one year, just with 1 year. But the key to our example here is just like this. If just think about that, if you were a child, what you must do first? You must do first is increase your vocabulary, and you can do that by listening. So choose some things to listen. That is the first advice that I give you. Of course, there's some grammar rules, and sometimes you must to know how to write things. That's okay. That's normal. Some people start with that, and they made successful with the methods. But the majority of people, which I know, start and study English with listen. And I have been doing that. In my opinion, I already told you here before, because I started to study with grammatical rules. I studied almost 2 years with that. I had some books. I went to private school twice a week, or once a week, or twice a week, depends how many time I spend there. If I spend just 1 hour, I had to come twice a week there. But if I spend 2 hours, I just went once a week because I had 2 hours a week to spend in my private school where I went for. And people, I studied almost 2 years grammar rules, but sometimes this I I felt that I didn't understand anything, so I decided to stop. So that is my example. It's my opinion. Of course, there are people who learn English in that way, and that is okay, no problem. But there, you must to find how easy to what method is it to be easier for you. Listen a lot, writing, learning by speaking. I don't know, but in my opinion, my advice for everyone who are learning is, of course, you can start to reading some materials, find some materials in the internet, but you must to start with English listen. Okay, that will be helpful. But if you are if you'd like to learn or if you'd like to speak English as fast as possible, if you have a time to spend with, I advise you to do three things at the same time. First, start reading. And when I said start reading, with the technology is available for everyone today, in smartphones, in laptops, you can reading, and after that you can listen what you read just to know how to correct pronunciation some words, because English is not a phonetic language. English is not a phonetic language. So some you the first thing that everyone must to know about English is the alphabet, how to pronunciation letter A. In Portuguese we say A, but in English A. Letter B, it's B. In Portuguese, we call B, but in English is B. So there's a difference, and it is a huge difference. Because if you give some example. When you say letter by letter, without put them together, it is a little different. But when you put a bunch of words to make a phrase, everything together, maybe you will not understand. That's why you didn't understand, because your brain get accustomed with your alphabet in Portuguese, or like in my case, for instance, in my case, for example. But that's the first thing that you must know. The English is not a phonetic language, so the letters doesn't sound like they are. So there's a difference in pronunciation. Get that idea and started to study from now. The, stop procrastinating things. Stop to procrastinate. As soon you start to study, maybe as soon you'll be speaking English, and that is so awesome, man. I would like to say for you that it's awesome to me. To be able to be here with you and speaking English with you, even with these mistakes which I made, because I know I made mistakes, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no problem make mistakes. The main goal of our English speaking, the main goal of that video here, it's made it understandable, made my communication with you, and if that happened, I'm proud and I'm happy with that. Okay, so you started to doing things related to your English, but some people, have been speakers, made some speeches in the YouTube and some conference that you must to find a way that you enjoy to learn English. And I agree with that. But there will be a time where you must to find some grammatical rules. You must read a book. You must read an article. You probably will uh, you learn a new phrasal verbs that is not so awesome, but that will be just when you are already intermediately. Because to pass through the intermediate level, to begin to be in the advanced level, that be necessary. But until you be in intermediate level, you can find uh, enjoyable ways to learn English. Like I said here, if you need to have more listening skills in the first steps, watching TV series that you already watch it in your native language. Probably you already know what they are speaking because you already watch it in your native language. But when you switch up, when you swap for an English, when you put that with no transcription and you start to listen people say exactly what they are saying in English, probably you get more idea, you get more familiar with the with the English language, and as soon as possible you will start to understand people without translation. So people, there's no magic to learn English, and I'm here to tell the truth. Everything that I said for you here today, it'll be it is true, and I passed through that situation. So but when you are able to make a communication with other person who maybe just speaking English, and you manage it to that, it will be awesome. It will be awesome, and probably you get more motivation than ever to keep and to go ahead with your English learning studies. So thank you very much. It is all for today, and I hope see you soon in my next video. Go ahead and keep your studies.